guys, welcome to SosinIAS Academy. This is Hima Hegde presenting before you the current and contemporary affairs in anthropology. Let us first learn about ayahuasca.
Why do these few plants, out of 500,000 in the world, have these unearthly effects on the mind and sometimes on the body that they think can transport him to outer realms of space? And they believe that in these plants there is a resident spirit.
Ayahuasca was the only psychedelic session where I had a sense of a personal therapist, kind of like a spiritual guide of some sort, which I didn't see, but it was a very clear sense of energetic presence and telepathic communication as guiding me in a very specific way through my sessions, looking what I should look at, what I should work on. And if I didn't do it, it sort of returned and was sort of putting some pressure on me to do it. You know, had an intention for me, what I should do, what I should become in that session.
Ayahuasca, also known as the tea, the wine, and la purga, is a brew made from the leaves of a shrub along with the stalks of a vine. The shrub and the vine involved would be the Psychotria verdis, that is the shrub, and Banistor piscis capi, that is the vine, though other plants and ingredients can be added. This drink was used for spiritual and religious purposes by ancient Amazonian tribes and is still used as a sacred beverage by some religious communities in Brazil and North America, including the Santo Daime. Traditionally, a shaman, and that is an experienced healer who leads to ayahuasca ceremonies, a shaman or that person who is called as curandero, prepares the brew by boiling the torn leaves of the shrub and the stalks in water. The wine is cleaned and smashed before being boiled to increase the extraction of its medicinal compounds. When the brew has reduced to the shaman's liking, the water is removed and reserved, leaving behind the plant material. This process is repeated until a highly concentrated liquid is produced. Once cooled, the brew is stained to remove all the impurities. Now, how does this work? The main ingredients of ayahuasca, that is, the Banisteriopsis capi and the Psychotria verdis, both have hallucinogenic properties. Psychotria verdis contains DMT, which is a psychedelic substance that occurs naturally in the plant. DMT is a powerful hallucinogenic chemical. However, it has low bioavailability as it gets rapidly broken down by enzymes called monoamine oxidases, that is MAOs, in the liver and the gastrointestinal tracts. For this reason, DMT must be combined with something containing MAO inhibitors which allow the DMT to take effect. So this is where the Banisteriopsis capsi comes into picture. This has psychoactive effects of its own. When combined, these two plants form a powerful psychedelic brew that affects the central nervous system, leading to an altered state of consciousness that can include hallucinations, out-of-body experiences, and euphoria. Now, how is ayahuasca used? Though ayahuasca was traditionally used for religious and spiritual purposes by specific populations, it has become popular worldwide among those who seek a way to open their minds, heal from past traumas, or simply experience an ayahuasca journey. It's strongly recommended that ayahuasca only be taken when supervised by an experienced shaman, as those who take it need to be looked after carefully, as an ayahuasca trip leads to an altered state of consciousness that lasts for several hours. Many people travel to countries like Peru, Costa Rica, and Brazil, where multi-day ayahuasca retreats are offered. They are led by experienced shamans who prepare the brew and monitor participants for safety. Before partaking in an ayahuasca ceremony, it's recommended that the participants abstain from cigarettes, drugs, alcohol, coitus, and caffeine to purify their bodies. It's also often suggested to follow various diets such as vegetarianism or veganism for 2 to 4 weeks prior to the experience. This is claimed to free the body of toxins. Now, the ayahuasca ceremony and experience. Ayahuasca ceremonies are usually held at night and last until the effects of ayahuasca have worn off. After the space is prepared and blessed by the shaman leading ceremony, ayahuasca is offered to participants, sometimes split into several doses. After consuming the ayahuasca, most people start to feel its effect within 20 to 60 minutes. The effects are dose dependent and the trip can last for 2 to 6 hours. Those who take ayahuasca can experience symptoms like vomiting, diarrhea, feelings of euphoria, strong visual and auditory hallucinations, mind altering psychedelic effects, fear, and paranoia. It should be noted that some of the adverse effects, such as vomiting and diarrhea, are considered a normal part of the cleansing experience. People react to ayahuasca differently. Some experience euphoria and a feeling of enlightenment, while others go through severe anxiety and panic. It's not uncommon for those taking ayahuasca to experience both positive and negative effects from the brew. Now, speaking of potential benefits of ayahuasca, many people who have taken ayahuasca claim that the experience led to positive, long term, life altering changes. This may be due to the effects of ayahuasca on the neurological system. Recently, research has shown that ayahuasca may benefit health, particularly brain health, in a number of ways. How would it benefit the health of the brain? That is because of the active ingredient. The main active ingredients in ayahuasca being DMT and beta carbolines, they have been shown to exhibit neuroprotective and neuro restorative properties or qualities in some of the studies. And it is also known to improve psychological well being. Research has shown that taking ayahuasca may increase the mindfulness capacity of the brain and improve the overall psychological well being. It may help treat addiction, anxiety, PTSD, depression. However, there could be potential side effects. While taking part in ayahuasca ceremony, consuming the psychedelic brew can lead to serious, even deadly side effects. First off, even though many of the unpleasant side effects that are usually experienced, such as the vomiting, diarrhea, paranoia, and panic, are considered normal, they can be extremely distressing. Some people report having miserable ayahuasca experiences, and there is no guarantee that you will react favorably to the concoction. What's more, ayahuasca can interact dangerously with many medications, including antidepressants, psychiatric medications, drugs used to control the Parkinson's disease, cough medicines, weight loss medicines, and more. Those with a history of psychiatric disorders such as schizophrenia should avoid ayahuasca, as taking it would worsen the psychiatric symptoms and result in mania. Additionally, taking ayahuasca can increase the heart rate and blood pressure, which may have a serious side effect on the heart conditions. So, the bottom line, ayahuasca has powerful hallucinogenic properties and it could cause both positive and negative health effects. Much more research is needed to determine whether it can be used as a safe alternative treatment for certain health conditions. Tourism and anthropology. Tourism is relevant to many theoretical and real world issues in anthropology. The major themes anthropologists have covered in the study of tourism may be divided conceptually into two halves. One half seeks to understand the origins of tourism and the other reveals the impact of tourism. Even when taken together, these two approaches seem to produce only a partial analysis of tourism. The problem is that most studies aimed at understanding the origins of tourism tend to focus on tourists, and most research concerning the impacts of tourism tend to focus on locals. The goal of future research should be to explore incentives and impact for both tourists and locals throughout all stages of tourism. This more holistic perspective will be important as we explore the ways in which ecotourism and other alternative forms of tourism can generate social, economic, and environmental benefits for local communities while also creating truly transformative experiences for the tourists. Now, if we were to talk about anthropology and tourism, until the 1970s, few anthropologists showed much academic interest in tourism. Though tourism was certainly relevant to the peoples and places many anthropologists were studying, few perceived it as a legitimate focus of analysis. Several factors make tourism especially relevant to anthropology. For one, tourism occurs in most, if not all, human societies. It is at least safe to say that people in nearly every society have been touched in some way by tourism. Many anthropologists have witnessed first hand the changes wrought by tourism in their field sites. In fact, tourism seems to occupy at least a subsection in many studies, kinds of places, in many studies that otherwise have little to do with tourism per se. Places off the beneath path, the kind of places most often which drag or which catch the interest of anthropologists are increasingly opening of transportation and communication. Today, if we were to talk, tourists are gaining access to even the most remote destinations in the Amazon, the Himalayas, the Antarctic, and of course the outer space. The economic importance of tourism has also merited the attention of anthropologists. As Greenwood noted, tourism is the largest scale movement of goods, services, and people that humanity has perhaps ever seen. The World Tourism Organization estimated that the number of international tourists traveling in the world in 1999 was 664 million. Finally, tourism has captured the attention of anthropologists because it often involves face to face encounters between people of different cultural backgrounds. Let once credited tourism with bringing about the single largest peaceful movement of people across cultural boundaries in the history of the world. When tourism and locals came together, both have the opportunity not only to glimpse how others live but also to reflect on their own lives through the eyes of the others. As a result, these cross cultural interactions often cue live performances of some of the broadest theoretical issues in anthropology.